their church is closing before it collapses. It's the third hit for the San Miguel parish of Socorro. News 13's Crystal Gutierrez is in the Newsplex with details.
And Tim, church officials say they're already pumping money into 2 churches, and they just don't think they'll have enough for a third.
Today, the church in San Antonio sits empty. Hymnals stacked behind pews, a bulletin left on the altar. Last night, parishioners walked out not knowing if they'll ever walk back in.
Last night at the church in San Antonio, which I mentioned last week was in some pretty bad shape, we had what we possibly could know is the very last Mass that will ever be held there. The church is a lot worse off than we ever thought.
Father Andy Pavlik broke the news to the rest of the Socorro community today. It's the third church in the San Miguel mission that is crumbling. In August, the walls of San Miguel, the parish's nearly 400-year-old main church, showed signs of deterioration. Crews cut big holes into the walls, praying the adobe will harden up. It was too late for the Holy Family Mission Church in Limitar. It collapsed in June, leaving a gaping hole through the sacristy. And now, the adobe walls of San Antonio are lined with cracks as the mud underneath falls apart.
We did an adobe test there, and unfortunately it came back worse than Limitar ever was.
Father Andy worries the walls here will collapse too, so fans are left on to try and keep the adobe dry. There's also roofing, plumbing, and wiring problems.
And so all put together, it means that the building will probably have to be condemned.
How hard is it to say that?
That's impossible to say. It's really hard to say.
Parishioners are already talking about building a smaller steel frame church lined with adobe, but there may not be enough money for it.
All of our resources all together at this point in time are maybe a couple $100,000. And so we don't have the money to deal with 3 churches that are clearly crumbling all around us.
And the problem is past restorations included plastering the walls with hard concrete that trapped in moisture. Father Andy says the San Antonio and Limitar churches have depleted their funds. 4 more adobe churches in the mission still need to be tested. Tim.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. If and when the church is rebuilt, it will be the 3rd time for the San Antonio church. Father Andy says the first 2 were damaged by floods. It's